Hello, and today we return to Markus's story, and he is in Jericho, discovering that he is not alone. There are many deviants. So as you can see, they're fugitives, and we get introduced to Josh, North, and Simon, who are the three sort of main characters you will interact with in Jericho. And there's some cool lighting with the torch, and obviously the dark, dingy atmosphere. And Markus is obviously trying to work out what's going on, because Jericho's this big sanctuary that's the haven for androids and all that, but I don't think he's that impressed when he gets here.
The rest were damaged escaping their masters.
Now obviously one of the big problems the androids have is because they've gone rogue, they don't get blue blood, they don't get spare parts, and of course as an android, even though you in theory have a long life, you will wear out eventually, and if you've been damaged, of course, then you're going to have lost blue blood or need replacement parts, etc. So they feel that this is a great thing, but Markus is a little bit angry, shall we say, and he's not buying into the news that he's been fed. And as you can see, he doesn't think their current solution is the right one. And this is the start of Markus's path down the sort of freedom fighter route. And he is going to be a bit like the little stone you drop in a pond and it sends out ripples that end up becoming big waves by the time it gets to the edges. So he's going to be, absolutely key to changing what's going on with Jericho. Now, he has the option now to walk around and talk to various people, and he needs to find someone called Lucy, who is pretty important. And when you first play, you might not spot, but there are these barrels that you can light, and when you do that, the androids in the shadows will sort of move towards the light. Now this is quite sad as well. Here we're meeting up with a android that's seen better days. As you can see, their skin and clothing is looking really rough, and this android's sort of reflecting on what death means to an android, and is there an afterlife for androids, for example. So this is a very touching moment here.
I was glad to meet you, Markus.
So unfortunately for this particular android, it's too late. She has shut down, been deactivated. Now what's interesting, I'm not sure if in theory you could repair her and reactivate her. Is that permadeath for an android, or if you give them new blue blood and new parts, would they sort of reboot and come back to life a bit like Markus? So interesting concept. Now obviously Markus himself has seen better days. He's got a gunshot wound to I guess the stomach or something, so he has lost a load of blue blood. Now there are these containers here which if you notice do actually say Cyberlife, and these are spare parts. So occasionally the androids do get hold of some parts, but not enough, to be honest. Now Markus, a bit like Connor, does have some advanced features that some of the other androids don't necessarily have, and he really gets to do these weird wonderful jumps, a bit like we used to get to Jericho in the first place, where you analyse potential routes and calculate stuff. So that's pretty cool. And as you can see, North in the background bouncing her ball there against the wall, obviously very unhappy with life, the universe and everything. And the lighting effect here, just great job again, showing off stuff. And the facial capture technology works really well on these two characters in this scene, I think.
That's how the humans treat those who disobey. They despise us. They'll never accept.
Now North has a complex story that she might reveal to you as the gameplay goes on, but you got to be a bit careful how you talk to her. It is possible to upset her, and she won't like you. And she, a bit like Markus, is fairly militant. In fact, she's more militant than Markus himself, in my opinion. Whereas Simon and Josh are much more sort of laid back, less aggressive, less antagonistic. You know, they want to seek simple, peaceful solutions. North is much more, well, you know, let's go take it to the humans and make them change their ways, because you know, she, as you will discover via her backstory, has some anger issues in regard to humans and their treatment of androids. So we've got another barrel to find. There are a few more bits we can interact with, but not a huge amount. But yeah, the torch there, nice little LED shake it to power it torch. Pretty cool piece of tech that we do sort of have even today. And someone's lurking in here. Well, spoiler, it's Lucy. Now Lucy has seen better days herself. As you'll discover, the whole back of her head is basically missing.
Are you Lucy?
Sit down.
Now she's a pretty cool character. She's sort of a mystic advisor to Jericho, and in some ways you'd think she's sort of the leader of Jericho, but she doesn't quite do that. So anyway, they're about to share some memories, and also she's going to heal Markus.
I'll stop the bleeding.
Ah, a nice bit of blue blood for Markus.
Drink this.
Now it's interesting to know what the blue blood is. I think if you read some of the articles and listen carefully to the conversations, you work out, I think it's sort of like a nanobot sort of bio component, because the androids are, I guess, using quantum computing chips or something. It's sort of an interesting concept, and as I say, I think if this game was set, you know, in excess of 50 years in the future, some of the technology would be a bit more believable. I think they made a mistake by setting it only, 20 years in the future. I think some of their projected enhancements are a little bit aggressive. I well remember Tomorrow's World, for example, in the UK, that predicted flying cars by now, and you know, they're not really around. Anyway, she, by sharing memories with Markus, is seeing that he's got sort of two main paths. He's got shadow and light, and that's sort of where you can go with Markus. You can either go down a sort of a peaceful or a more warlike path with regard to android-human relations. And my first playthrough, I chose a particular option. On this playthrough, I'm going to be slightly more aggressive, but not totally aggressive. So you'll see how that works out for Markus. Anyway, he has pretty much spoken and explored everything, so I think we go speak to Simon to actually activate the plan, and that will be the end of this particular episode. So I hope you're still enjoying the playthrough. I notice some of the earlier ones are getting a decent amount of views, but anyway, another little fun bit here. Android children. Now obviously the idea of this is for people who can't have a family, or a child has died and they want, you know, sort of a replacement proxy, then you could buy yourself a little android boy or girl. The big problem, of course, with that is it's a little bit weird. I think that's a really dodgy area for android technology to go down, and it's also a little bit of a surprise, really, because there haven't been too many hints that, you know, you can have android children so far. But that's pretty significant, discovering that here on Jericho. So anyway, yeah, let's go talk to Simon and get this ended and move on. So there you go. As I say, hope you're enjoying the stuff so far, and this video is, I believe, number 11. So we've got a fair few more to go. You know, but I'd say we're probably over halfway there now. So until the next one, enjoy.
And even if we did, none of us knows how to fight.
We can steal what we need without fighting.
We'll just get ourselves killed.
Maybe. But it's better than waiting here to be shut down.
I'm with you.
Maybe it's worth a try.